Welcome everybody to Tzuzamen.
Hi, we're tzuzamen in
Tzipi.
English. This is Tzili. And I'm Tzipi. And this is Yuval Caspin, the greatest, the great performer, a total man. But before that, welcome everybody. Tzuzamen is together, right? And as you know, we are here to find those incredible people who can inspire us. And there is no doubt that Yuval, which is one of them, total human being and a great performer. And Tzili, can you go on?
Fashion designer, a costume designer, singer, performer, teacher, all over the place. You know, Yuval.
And I had my own TV program for 5 years.
Television. And you know, and just look at him. He walks in the street, and that's it, the whole space.
He's taller than me.
Nothing to do with
a big guy.
It's nothing to do with the
I have to say that two things come to my mind when we say Yuval Caspin. One, many years ago in Tel Aviv, when they started to bring shows that had musicals that brought a little bit of a taste of Broadway, you knew that at the end of the sentence, Yuval will get there, because only Yuval was able to bring the zets of Broadway to the stage of Israel. And right away, it got volume and color, and it was like, da-da-dam, you know, it was there. The other thing was, remember Yuval at the 80s, when you lived in New York, we were in New York, we came to perform with a show from the theater. And every night we went out to, New York was crazy then with all the clubs and the music and the dancing. And there was a huge club, I had no idea, I don't remember anything. It was the size of a building. And I remember walking in, and we were climbing upstairs to the last balcony, unbelievable music. There were tons of people drinking, dancing, singing, and downstairs, like 3-4 stores below us, there was the dancing floor. And in the middle of the dancing floor, there was a huge guy with huge shoulders pads and huge, unbelievable, colorful coat. And I said, Yuval! It was like, I cannot forget it. It was unbelievable.
She just wrote a script for a short test.
I was a member.
Which club was it? I don't remember.
I don't remember the name. It was at Union Square.
Yes.
And it was very different club, because after a long time of having a dark black clubs, it was a white one. It used to be a theater. And they turned into be a club.
It has like 4 balconies, you know, there was the stage and the floor, and everybody flew from everywhere. And it was so many balconies, and just the music was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, and it was unbelievable. And all of a sudden I see it, I'm looking and I say, Yuval, you cannot.
After I came twice, they took me out of the line of the people that wait to get in.
Yeah.
And they took me to the manager, and he gave me a membership card. And just because of my performance, I dressed back then. Now I'm a minimalist, but back then.
Right.
I was talking to her, but you know, she has good eyes, because I saw a picture for you of now, and look what he's doing. Are you cooking now? Oh.
That's the way I looked back then.
Right.
Wow. But listen,
a long ponytail and over shoulder pads.
But the shoulder pads were huge.
You can see here.
Yeah.
Now we can see them. So I told Tzili, listen, he's now dressed like, you know, regular, except, you know, maybe the jewelries and the sunglasses. But then Tzili, who has a good eye, she said, oh, come on, look at his jacket. It looks like straight lines, but it isn't.
This is Yuval line.
This is Yuval line. And I told them, you know, I don't know it, but, you know, I'm not really, I don't have, anyway. But then you had this bag going diagonally. I think it's red.
The red bag.
Yeah, this is the picture that I showed today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it's like
once
in a week I'm taking the train to Haifa, and I'm teaching there for 30 years already.
Wow.
I'm teaching the fashion.
In Vitso.
In Vitso?
Yeah.
In Vitso. It's called now the Academic of Vitso, because
Wonderful. They used to produce very good very good films. I like their students. I don't know if they still have a film division.
Yeah.
But so you go to Haifa, wow, for 30 years.
But anyway, Yuval is back in Tel Aviv. He lives in Israel for many years now. He's visiting in New York, and even this got stuck because, you know, last Pesach he was supposed to come to me for Pesach, and then he said, so maybe for Rosh Hashanah. Now Pesach again, and then maybe for Rosh Hashanah, and he will come again. Yuval, how was the corona in Tel Aviv? I say was because Tel Aviv is open now. Tel Aviv is open now.
Yuval in the corona.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah, in person, the first Seger, what do you call it, Seger in?
Lockdown.
Lockdown? The first lockdown was okay, because I share my space, my loft, with a very good friend of mine, and we cooked all the time.
Smart.
And nighttime, I used to take my bicycles and go around Tel Aviv against the police cars that look out for people that going out more than 500 meters out of their house, and I used to drive.
Hallucination.
But
they saw you and they thought, oh, this is a nice hallucination.
And then the second locked up was very, very, very bad for me. And I was all by myself, and I took it awfully too much seriously, and I had all kind of התקפי חרדה, what do you call it?
Anxiety. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
And then I lost 15 kilos in a month.
Oh, really? So it's, wait. So is it contagious, this anxiety attack? It's contagious because
you have enough anxiety without it.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Probably not. Probably everybody else was gain weight. I lost weight, and then I had a little heart problem. Since then, I went back to do sports, and I'm doing it every day. And I think that I'm all right. I opened my now that it's open, I decided to do something good for the society. And I opened my loft, my house, which is it used to be אולם שמחות.
Like
party hall.
Party hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you open theater at home.
And now I'm hosting theaters here, all kind of monodramas and shows, and it goes very well for 30 people, 40 people, and.
Wow.
But we have to say that
I'm giving it for free, so all the money is going for the artist, of course.
That's wonderful.
I just want to tell the audience outside of Israel. Israel was really locked down for a long time, 3 times, and they shut down all the theaters, all the performances, all the music shows. They really took the oxygen from a big chunk of the Israeli culture. So many actors used to do shows in people's homes, only for 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, maybe in the backyard, maybe in the big living room, and they had tiny drops of cultural events in the houses. So now Yuval, who is a performer himself, opened the little theater in his house, which is unbelievable.
You could also pick, what angle to put the stage, because you have so many, I wish you could see the apartment, because anyway, there are so many backgrounds in your loft that each one can be a set.
You can create a set and background in 2 seconds. So it's
right. So
the drama is everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But can you live without drama? How is life without drama?
Good question. I can't answer you in a very short way, but
try.
you know, I'll try to translate it. There is a very famous singer, I won't say his name, that his mother used to tell him, פרויקה, החיים זה מה שאתה אומר שזה,
Oh, the life is what you say they are.
אז יותר טוב תגיד משהו טוב.
So you better say something good.
בדיוק.
Oh, wait. I want to tell you something. That's very interesting you mention it. I was at dinner yesterday, and that was the main topic of the conversation. To what degree the kind of narrative we tell is, and it's a narrative that we will eventually believe in, and can it create optimism? You know, we can be optimistic because I just want to tell you the context of the conversation was that the Israel spent a lot of money on trying to deal with post-traumatic, especially of soldiers, right? But I was wondering if we can prevent post-trauma by teaching people to get used to reframe the narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they told, it was a bunch of psychologists, like 3 psychologists, and they thought that my theory will not work.
It's hard. It's almost impossible, because if you go to a war, no matter what narrative you create, you get hurt. In which space you're going to recreate the narrative in order not to get hurt?
It's a big question. So if we leave war aside, can we, for example, get ready to heartbroken, when our heart is broken because we lost somebody, or we lost love, or we had the love, big love, and it's over with? Can we get used? Can we prepare ourselves?
I don't think so.
I studied for 2 years already. חשיבה חיובית.
Oh, yeah, positive thinking.
יוגיסטית.
Oh, yogistic.
כן,
You are רוחני, what we say, spiritual.
And it helps. If you work on it. If you have to work on it all the time, it's not.
The truth is that everything that is out there, no matter what, if you find something that can help you, it's good to take it. And you need maintenance all the time.
Yes.
But Yuval, I want to go back a little bit to your family, to your parents and your history, because
did we make sure everybody knows that he became one of the best performers in Israel? That when he performs, he takes people through a story.
Yeah, but
and completely we are becoming involved in the story he tells.
But Yuval's family's story is involved with the history of Israel.
Yes.
And they're very dots through the history that they visited there. So can you tell us a little bit the colorful, or the picante, how do you say that?
Picante
details of your family backgrounds, because it really takes everybody from the interesting stories of the history of Israel, and before Israel, what Israel was basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my grandmother from my father's side, born in Gaza.
Oh my God.
In 1900, the very beginning of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
And she speaks Hebrew, Arabic, and biblical language.
How did she get to Gaza? How did her parents get to Gaza?
There was a big Jewish community in Gaza.
Oh, okay. Really? We don't know about it.
Yes, then they moved to Jaffa, then they moved to, they was all around.
That's fantastic, I didn't know.
Yeah, and finally she married a tailor.
Chic.
From Russia.
You answer me. Yeah.
And that's my father's side. My mother's side, both of her parents were very, very young, like 17 or 18 or something like this, when they ran away from Poland, and they moved to somewhere, now it's called Hoda Sharon. It used to call Ramatayim.
Yeah.
But my grandfather at the Museum of Ramatayim, this is a picture of the first person who did the Harish. I don't know.
Okay, farmers.
The farmers.
Farming.
In Ramatayim. Then he was there for a year, and then he wrote my grandmother that if she will come to Israel, to Palestine, of course, he will marry her, and it's beautiful. And she came like the Queen of England, and she found out that he waited for her with the chamor, with the donkey at the port of Jaffa. And very quickly she understands that you have to wear shorts and whatever. And
it was a long road to Ramatayim from Jaffa.
Yes, on a donkey. And then they got married, and my mother was the first child, and then her brother. They all died, by the way. I lost my mother 2 years ago. Huh?
Your grandparents is over 100 years.
No, but they died. They died, and I lost my mother 2 years ago. And I think that I'm telling it because it's always surprised people. I'm maniach tefillin every morning.
You put tefillin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every morning, and I'm keeping kosher, and I'm lighting candles right on time on Shabbat and everything. Why?
Yes.
Because I think that there is an option that nobody's talked about it, that you can be a Yehudi, Ma'amin, believer, and Chiloni.
Secular believer.
You don't have to be a Dati to be a believer.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think that belief is not does not belong only to religious people. Belief is everybody's.
But in Israel, the politician turn it is like there is their property religion.
But the religious people think that you can believe only if you're religious.
Yes, if you keep the mitzvah.
Right, and it's
which is wrong.
It's not true.
It is, because it's very funny, because I made a film about a girl who, kind of tzatke, what we say. She it was not completely, full of values of decency. But anyway, she became religious, and she actually became a Haredi, ultra-religious. So I made a film about her. So when I went to Mea Shearim in Jerusalem, in the ultra-religious Haredim area, and I didn't have even what to dress for them, but I did find something, a skirt, clothes, etc. But then one of the rabbis told me, I must tell you, he said, you are so Jewish. And he read me.
But it's unusual.
He really read me.
It's unusual.
Because, I try to keep the 10 Commandments in terms of values, not to murder and not, but I'm not keeping the mitzvot, the do. And he read it. And you are the second one, because I don't hear it much, not enough.
I think that there are many people that either don't share it or they don't talk about it. They do believe, they do light candles, they do keep kosher, and they're seculars, or at least traditional. They're not Orthodox. They're Orthodox in their way, or it's close to their heart without making a big deal out of it.
But one of the things that happened, that if you ask today, Israel is like us, me, what do I feel? I always will say Israeli first and Jewish second, but it's because Jewish I take for granted,
But you're Jewish first, I think. I'm Jewish first.
But
we spoke about it before.
Yes, I always define myself as Israeli. So anyway, I think it's wonderful because it does put you in some kind of not being the most important creature on earth, and you know what I mean? There is something above you.
It's humble,
Exactly. It's humble. It's humility.
Yuval, you basically grew up to be an opera singer.
Oh, really?
Right?
Oh, that, my God.
This before the fashion and the costumes.
Yes, I was learning singing, and my teacher teach me to sing opera. She saw that I have to sing opera. still people come to me and say, you should sing opera and you'll make a lot of money, but I'm not singing opera. I was at a part of my my army service was in a להקה צבאית, in a singing group.
Opposite.
And then I tried outside after the army. I did here and there, but it wasn't what I want, and I decided to go to Plan B. Plan B was being a costume designer for theater. And then I started to do films, and then I did some theater, and then I started to do musical, and the rest is history. I opened the fashion studio because most of the Israeli performance, yeah. I dressed them, I designed for them, even in a private life. And then I did my own collection for Rosh Indiani that used to be very, very famous.
Very brand, yes.
And then when I got the title at the first page of Yediot Acharonot saying Yuval Caspin is a young Israeli promised young Israeli designer, I packed myself and I moved to New York.
Why?
And I couldn't take it. It was too much for me. Since 22, I was all over in the papers, in the gossip and columns and everywhere. And being almost 26 and being the best futuristic designer,
too much.
I said, no, it's too fast for me. I want to go to a place that nobody knows me and start from the beginning. And I did it. I moved to New York. I had a good time and a bad time. And
but you did some fashion in New York?
Of course. I did fashion in New York, and part of it was very successful. I used to go in clubs and telling...
Yuval cannot hide. As much as he wanted to run away and to be secretive, he cannot hide because you cannot miss him, and his personality is big too. So right away he's at the front, so you cannot really run away.
I used to tell the girls, you know you're wearing me. And what? You know you're wearing me? Oh, really? Yeah. What's written here? I said the company used to call Rated R. With Bia, that later she became very famous, the Israeli designer that works on the state. And so some of the thing was very successful. I couldn't do theater, which I missed very much because I wasn't at the union.
Here in the States.
Then at the end, I lost my lover. He died out of AIDS, and thanks God I didn't didn't infected, and I decided to leave New York and go back to Tel Aviv.
You just gave us a backstory about your sexuality. No, not everybody knows. So you just
gave us a backstory. Gay?
Yeah.
Do you think that anyone that look at the screen thinks that I'm straight?
Why not?
No way.
Why not? Listen. No, I know a lot of people who are not men who are not gay, and actually this is something else I want to ask you about, and really develop a persona. What kind of, how they want to be perceived? You don't have to be gay to have this need. How did you want to be perceived? How did you want people to perceive you, and what do you want them to see in you? You defined yourself. You created
I will tell you a story. A very famous reporter, very famous one. We all know him. Did an interview with me on the TV, and he told me, up till I met you, I thought that guys that have to do with fashion and hairstyle and are very kalei da'at and
very shallow. No, shallow. Let's call it shallow.
So the image is problematic. I mean, if you are doing if I was a doctor, they will take me more seriously. But I was almost in this Knesset, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What party?
I cannot tell you.
I can guess.
He's talking about the font, the Israeli font.
No, you cannot guess. They cannot guess. Nobody guessed. But they promised me the 15 seat, and they hardly get 9.
But you know, it bothers me what this guy who did the interview with you said, because we're not talking about 1,000 years ago. It's just now, and the perception of certain professions and certain things that people are busy with, the way they're being taken by other people, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing because you can find serious professions that people are not that good and that great and not very smart and deep. And it's pity that people still think that if somebody is doing fashion or hairstyling,
or just being a very flamboyant.
That's very stupid, because doctors can fix your physical health, but hairstyles and fashion people, really take care of your really well-being, as far as living at peace with yourself. I mean, fulfilling your dreams.
But also you have all these humongous fashion house. They're big business.
Yeah, but they're not for people like me.
Politician, doesn't matter. So when you talk about them, if you say Giorgio Armani, nobody would think that he's like light, no. And it's like the assumption. The thing is that when I think they're getting embarrassed when they see somebody who's very dramatic, very out there, very colorful, with different choices. They don't know what to think. They don't know. So right away they put it in the department. It's not the right place to be. It's low. It's wrong.
It's like an architect.
It's much more interesting in a way, and there is a whole thing behind it.
It's like an architect. Architect come to me to design a home for me. He better get to know me and see what kind of, how can I feel, what walls I will feel comfortable in.
Yeah, but it's a bit different because when you look at Yuval, it's right there. It's out there.
Yeah, but when if I ask him to design for me, he will look at me, right?
Yeah.
You will study me if you have to design my fashion. What's good for me? You'll do your research, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
So how did you become a fashion designer? Before I go to the other side of you, the singing.
It just happened. I really, it's first time I came to this company that called Rosh Indiani, and they offered me to do a collection. I didn't know what the words mean. I came from the theater.
They looked at him maybe.
No. You don't look at somebody and you say, okay, come and design our collection. It's
what qualities? What qualities
they
telling you?
They knew that I'm already holding the best, I hate this word, celebrities in as far as design for them. So they understand that I'll bring my people with me to this company, and they were right. As far as
marketing,
as Yachsei Tzibur, as PR, they were absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I start to learn how to make a fashion, which is a completely different story than doing costume for the theater. It's two different worlds. And when I came to New York, I did fashion, but more than I did fashion, I designed fashion. I learned a lot. The system is completely different. The way they work there is completely different, and the way they sell there is completely different. Back then, they just opened the Java Center.
Okay.
By the way, so my second show was at the Java Center.
What?
And yes, and
a joke. It's serious.
Yeah.
I knew right away if I'm successful or I'm not successful by the order that people took.
Yeah.
It's not the way that they're doing it here.
No, in Israel they do the show just to do the show, and in New York you count the money right away.
It's one way to put it.
But it's true. It's true because then you have many orders, and you build basically the whole product based on the orders. Yeah. And in Tel Aviv, it's only they do the show just to present, to get critics and to be known, and that's it.
Yeah. But when you design, any way you look at it, it's kind of storytelling. You tell a story, right? In your design.
In my
in
my collection, I mean, season per season, which it change. I'm having a new influence and a different story, but it one of the big compliments that I can have, and that people tell me, oh, we saw a dress on somebody on the street, we knew that it's you. They recognize my work, which is sometimes not. It's sometimes people say it and they don't mean to give you a compliment.
Oh,
but
really?
For me, it's always a compliment. If they recognize my handwriting,
yes,
I'm having handwriting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But it's really, I don't know if there is a connection or it's subconscious connection, and then you turn into women lyrics for your songs. You know, you use some of my favorite women poets.
The Israeli poets.
Rachel Shapira and Rachel and right? And Tirza Atar. So what drew you basically mostly, and correct me if I'm wrong, to women poems or songs?
I'll tell you a little bit of the history of me going back to sing, because I didn't sing for 20 years after the army. Oh. And then somebody offered me, someone remembered that I used to be singer at the army and offered me to perform in some club. And I was very worried. I didn't use my voice for a long time. I mean, voice for singing. And I did it, and the audience really liked it. So I built up a small group of players. And we did a show called Nosea Be'ikvot Ha'ahava, which is a very famous song.
A journey in search of love.
Yes, that's written by, forgive me, I forgot his name.
We forget all the time.
It was a song that was very, very famous. And this show was only songs that used to be sung on the 80s and 70s and 90s by female singers, which on every one of them I had a little story because I worked with all of them.
Oh, okay.
Nice stories, nothing nasty.
You mean as a fashion designer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with them or at the theater.
Okay.
And it was a success. It was a big success. We ran with it like for 3 years. And people still say, is that the same Yuval Caspin that used to be a designer? And they were very surprised.
Me too.
And at the same time, I got my first TV program at the Arutz 10.
Ah,
I started with the promise of that we will have 8 programs. We ended up with, after 3 years, with 44 programs. So at the same time, I became a singer and a TV host, which I also wrote the script.
What was
I
it?
did everything.
Was a host?
Everything, and hosted. So there was a very big change in my life. And then I saw that the piano festival happened in Tel Aviv once in a year.
Yes, it's a wonderful.
That was the 10th years that they celebrated 10 years of the piano festival, and they looked for a new material. And I saw an ad, and I wrote them that I want to do a new program that the first night will open at the festival. And they asked me what kind of a performing, and I answered, I don't know exactly, but I know that the words will be very important. It will be Hebrew, the best Hebrew that I can bring. And they asked me like what? So I said Shirei Meshorerim, which is
not by poets.
Right, men and women.
Okay, men and women.
They gave me a month to choose what I want to sing, and I did a list of a 15 song, and a night before I had to send it to them, I looked at the list and I saw that I'm having only female writers.
Of course.
And I thought to go to the psychiatrist, but then I said, no, I understand. אני מתחבר mentality.
It's much better in my mental, yeah.
I want just to tell you.
And I came out with it. I got a great critics. I even didn't dream about it. And it runs for 10 years.
Wow.
And it's called Yuval Caspin שר משוררות.
Yuval Caspin sings lady poets. But yeah. I want to tell you something very interesting, because, you know, every panel that you have with a filmmaker, film directors who are female, one of the first questions, if there is a female, you know, films, and a lot of films reject it. They say, no, we are filmmakers, we are film directors, you know. And I always say, what are you talking about? There is a way that a female, the way she touches stories, characters, and male, I mean, it cannot be the same. And I keep, actually, many times I am in minority.
But you know,
I think that you're absolutely right. Sure. I can recognize the movie if I don't know that I'm waiting for the titles at the end.
Yes.
That of course, it was the woman that.
But you know, unfortunately, I think from so much pushing towards equal rights and to have the same opportunity, in a way we lose, because you cannot be equal. There is a way that men present things. There is a way that women present things. You cannot develop it if you get it equal all the time. You have to have equal opportunity, and you have to have an equal way of expressing yourself and not limited by anybody. But it's a totally different language.
I do believe in it. So I actually very proud of you. That you like it, because the moment you talk about I'm singing female poets, you tell there is a specific touch that I'm looking for. There is a specific motifs that I'm looking for. And
the sensitivity,
yeah. and you know, the fact
and the details
that you come and say, I am as a man. I don't think, for me, it's not really connected to being gay. For me, it's you're a man, which is wonderful. A man who can dive into the depth of female souls. You know, this is fantastic. And male who do many times don't want to even admit it. You know, the masculinity.
So my third program, I did a record, and then I turned it to I did a small record, 6 songs, and it's called Mimeni Elecha.
From me to you.
That's okay.
To you, but
you don't know if it's a male to women. You don't know male to female or female to male.
Man to man. In Hebrew, it's very clear. If I'm saying Mimeni Elecha and not Mimeni Elaich,
okay,
it means man to man.
Right. Man to man.
That's right.
And I did covers of songs that used to be sung by females.
Male.
Love song, which are turned in some of the cases with the help of the original writers to be a man-to-man thing. Songs, and since it was just 6 songs, we turned it to be a big performing with 15 songs, and we went to the festival the piano festival again again it was a very big success, a very, very, very good critics. And some of they said that the way that I put it was best than the original, and it was quite a scoop. But it was forget about the scoop. It was a very, very sensitive record, and
it's an important record. Listen, you made me think something that the way you talk, that I'm not saying anything new, but we all share the human codes, the same human codes. However, we are brought up that some codes we can use because we are males, some codes we can use because we are female. And then when we go to gay, we come from a different place to judge it, and then we don't even include them in the emotional range, which is the same. Guess
yeah,
what?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying in the performing. Love is love is love.
That's right.
In this,
right.
In
but
this
every
case,
human code doesn't matter.
Man to man, and
it's not only love, it's also worried and anxiety. What
I like the most is that the writers were partnered with you to change it, so they can really extend the audience. That Yuval, what are you working on now? Something new?
We didn't work for a long time since the corona started. I teach only in the Zoom, and
but what's cooking in your head?
What's cooking now is a new performance of mine with my partner. She is my pianist and my music arranging, and she called Vered Picker. And we are going. It's waiting for a year and 3 months already for us to go out with it, and it called Ahava Hishir Lishnayim.
Love is a song for two.
And it's also a beautiful duet that recorded in Hebrew from the beginning of the country, and Yafa Yarkoni and Arik Einstein. Yes, Thiel, Ricky Gal, and Mati Caspin.
Right,
remember?
Noam and Nama. Wow.
So that will be the next performing, hopefully become out soon. And this year I got the Oscar of the theater costumes.
Wow.
Hey, nice. For what?
תיאטרון ילדים ונוער.
For kids, the kids theater.
Yeah. The theater.
No, for all the theaters in Israel.
Really?
Also on Apparat inside and the Teatron Artzi and everything. So I got the prize for the best costumes.
Wow.
And they offer me now a new play. Hopefully we start to work on it right away. And I don't know. Maybe other surprises. I don't know with myself. I'm waking up in the morning and I'm changing the house. I'm changing the furniture. I'm changing my life. And
wow. So after what Tzili asked you, so in what way this year and a half almost, did you think it didn't change you in some deep way?
It changed me.
Sure
enough, it changed me.
Can you put your finger on what?
I will concentrate on the good things. I started to appreciate everything that we're taking for granted. I'll tell you, I'm living here for 24 years. I have 2 terraces, mirpasot, balconies.
Yes.
I never used them before the corona.
Really?
Corona time, I start to sit on the balconies.
Wow.
Daytime, nighttime, looking at the stars, looking at the moon. I start to go to the beach every day because I'm doing my sport on the beach. So if you are single, you can do a single sport if you're not in a group.
Yes.
So the beach is 200 meters from here.
Yes.
I mean, and we're taking it for granted. Not every city has such a beautiful beach. And
I really never chose a place without a terrace. I must have a terrace and I use it. I mean, yes, it is. It is like, Yeah, that's nice. How
Yes.
about your perception? Anything reflecting on your life, on what you miss? Any reflection? Now I went to the deeper side. No, you were better to talk about the happy moment. But there was thinking.
Of course I missed. Listen, first of all, I'm a person who loves to host friends. And to do the tape, I came out with the book, the teaching how to set the tables.
We have to. I have to come to
30 different tables, and I really love it. And I couldn't do it on the. Nobody let me in, and I couldn't let anyone else in.
Of course.
Because my big love to my friends. And also hosting people that I don't know. For a year and 3 months more, I couldn't do anything. So I missed it a lot, really. And I started to do all kind of good food and take my bike and go to my friend's house and tie to the door, to the front door, and send her the message, you having a pie on your, or you having
it's like
all kind of mishloach manot.
Yeah, mishloach manot is pouring.
Thanks God we started to see each other, which is a lot for me. And
you can hear already that how he spread the skin between the fingers, and it's going to get his volume, his color, and again,
but you know, I'm looking at you, and it's amazing that I'm sure that I worked with you, and you became actually, I don't know, from strange reason, part of my life, my personal history. It's unbelievable, however. So how a person like you, who likes beauty, who loves people, who usually lead his life with his own truth without hurting anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can you take what's going on now around you in Israel?
I didn't understand the question, I'm sorry.
Tzili will tell you in a more...
There is a very big division between the way you carry your life with your extravaganza, with the beauty, with the colors, with the good taste, good heart, and doing good things for other people, and face what's going on in Israel now. How you can, if you can balance it,
in the balagan, in the chaos,
how can you take it?
In the divisions, because in the middle of this division, you are doing stuff with what's her name? Mira Awad?
Mira Awad. You know, by the way, I got somebody sent me like a semi-joke today on the internet. They gave the list of the black holes in the world. Where are the largest and the worst black holes? And the bottom was the government of Israel. That the worst black hole in the world. And it's so true. It's so true. So that's what we mean. And so what do you think?
What do you think?
I really didn't want to go into it
because you like, I know.
But it's depressed me. It really, seriously. I mean, politically, I don't think that we can. I think that we're two different
people.
People. We have to split it. We're gonna be back again, Israel and Yehuda and Israel. Otherwise, we can't live together.
I just want to make sure that you say when we need to split it, he's talking about the Israelis and not Palestinians and Israelis.
No, Palestinians is another problem. I mean, but first, let's talk about us now. We can't be a religious country.
And
I'm sorry?
Half of us are really upset and depressed, and the others are not. They're ready to fight no matter what against us. And it's very hard to put it together.
For people who grew up like us, we grew up with a solidarity feeling. We went to the street, we felt solidarity, and we felt being taken care of, and we felt that somebody is taking care of us. You know, let's say even the government, of course. We didn't doubt it.
I'm still hoping that in some way that unclear right now, the government will change.
Right. Well, yeah.
And I'm not sure yet. I'm still hoping that something will happen.
Sound good, but okay.
But if not, government with Ben Gvir and Smotrich and Noam, they can't be my government. So there is two ways: or either I'll go out, which I don't want to. I want to live here, or we have to split.
Yeah, it's really worrying me, because I think the way it goes, Israel might find itself good only for certain people, and these are the poor people and the old people and the ultra Orthodox and the Arabs and those that they cannot live. And it's very disturbing to think about it. Very disturbing.
We need you to spread the good, because it is, I said already in one of the programs, it's really a shame that the sun shines on the bad and the good. It's really amazing, because it looks like it's okay to be bad, right?
Yeah.
But there is something in you that I think you should spread the notion of goodness and beauty.
But it does all the time.
But I want to push him further. So I'm very happy that you at least try to go into politics. Or maybe you'll be there. I don't know if I should. If I have to talk to the marriage people, to the human rights. No, okay, never mind.
I'm sorry?
No, I said if I have to talk to the human rights movement, merits.
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay.
She wants to give you a note, so they will take you in for sure.
But not merits offered me to be a congressman.
That's interesting.
It came from another side, completely different side.
I can be Bennett or what his name?
I want to
Bennett, no way. Bennett is a homophobic. He can't offer me.
I
want to see the Knesset with all the faces that we have there, and with you. This will be a sight.
Show us your jewelry.
This will be a sight.
Show us the jewelry. My God. Wow. So your mother, let her rest in peace. What did she say about your jewelries?
First of all, this ring used to be my mother
necklace.
Yes, my mother necklace, and she wanted to give it to me while she was alive. She didn't know She didn't know that she is sick back then, but she wanted to wear me to wear something of hers.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And I put it on my neck, and I said, "Listen, Mom, I'm looking like a bat mitzvah girl. It's too small for me. I mean," so she said, take it, keep it. So I was visiting her in Haifa, and I took the train back to Tel Aviv. And while I was sitting in the train, I started to roll it around my finger.
Wow.
And it came this. Beautiful. So I went down to the jewelry maker here, not far away from here. I have my favorite one, and I told him, make it a ring. So he made it, and since then it's always on me. Meantime, she passed away.
Right.
And this is Robert Lee Morris, which I couldn't find in New York last time that I was here. Last time I was in New York, I was looking for him. The big one I bought when I first came to New York in 1984. And this one, I met him on 91, and he did me this one. And last time I was in New York, I wanted to buy the big one, and he wasn't there. The store wasn't there, and I looked for him at the internet, and I couldn't find him.
But going back to your mother, it's always fascinates me. In a way, even if people didn't have good relationships with their parents, but I think you and me are lucky but we have the need to carry a piece of them.
Mm-hmm.
24/7, some form, and to carry the ring, it's such a physical touch. I have something also. I think I will start to wear it. You just inspired me because it's a gift. It's a very, very spiritual, emotional gift. That's
my mother having here corner of her for her memories, and it's all with always a candle, a lighting candle, and a picture of her when she got married as a bride.
Yeah.
And now, when I bought the new piano, I'm having now kanaf.
Yeah. Oh wow, my dream, grand piano. What color?
Piano.
What color?
Black, of course.
What do you mean, of course? I always wanted grand piano white.
White.
No, it's too much. White one is the Elton John.
It's a baby grand piano or is it a regular size? Do you know? Baby?
Baby.
Oh my God, you know, I designed my place in Israel with a special niche for a baby grand piano that I said I will sit there when I'm like 80 and I will play the white grand piano. Wow, you just fulfilled it because I have a piano everywhere where I go, but it's like, you know, a piano.
So I written on the piano on a piece of iron of
plate, yeah.
Yuval Caspin גרשון ז"ל, אמא שלי שירת חיי.
Wow, my mother,
the song of
my life, and her name on the piano.
Yeah.
Listen, she's happy wherever
she born me twice.
She
gave me life twice.
What do you mean by that? First time she gave you birth?
First time she gave me birth when she gave me birth on 57, on the 21st of January 57, which is the Holocaust Day, by the way.
Yeah, but
and the International Holocaust Day.
Okay.
And that was the day that they released Auschwitz. We just had a memorial here in this apartment, and the group called Zikaron Basalon.
Yeah, I remember. I know. I saw that.
It's amazing.
And this year we did it here for the community of the gays of the pinked sign on the shirt. You know that it was.
Yes, of course. And they even fought who suffered more. You know what's the name of the play? There was a
bands.
Bands, you know, they were quarreling. Who suffered more, the gays or the Jews? Whoa.
The gays was lowers, by the way. So we did here, and the second birth was when I was 17. Theoretically, I saw that I'm gay. Right. Theoretically, that was 1975 in Haifa, from all places in Haifa.
People thought you are crazy. You are abnormal. You know, like today the Haredic thing.
It wasn't on the. So I went to read all the books about it, and I said that I'm going to school, and I didn't arrive to school. And in every book, it was mentally sickness.
Oh my God! Yeah. Sure.
And I saw that I'm sick person, and I started to lose weight. I started not to see. I started to need glasses, all kind of things. And my mother, my brother was at the army, and my father, as usually, was around because he was a tourist guide. And so it was my mother and me at the house mostly, and most of the time. And finally she said, I can't take it anymore. I don't know what you have. You don't want to tell me, but I'm not moving out of your side of your bed for a minute. It can take 2 days. I'm not moving from here until you tell me what do you have. And what I really want to do is to kill myself. Seriously, I was after already jumping to the street and the car.
And why?
And all kind of things. And I was very, very, very skinny in the time because I didn't want to eat anything, everything. I mean, and she had to live with it. And finally, I remember it was a full night that she sit next to me. And morning time, I was taking the smicha,
the
blanket, and I put it on my face, and I said, Mom, I think that I'm a homosexual. And she, in a minute, she said, מזה אתה עושה כזה עניין? From
You
this
make a
you
big deal out of
such
that?
a mess? What are you talking about? That's it? We will live with it and it will be okay. Come on, get up, go to school. What do you want me to do? I said, get me a good psychiatrist. And she said, whatever, a psychologist. And she said, whatever you want. And by the time that I got back from school, she said, you have the best one in Haifa. And if that's what will help you, you want it, you go. We can live without it. But if that's what you want it, you go with it. Because I read in all the books that they help me, they change me, they
Wow.
Amazing.
This amazing
Yuval,
story.
Motek, we have to finish, and this is a good way to finish it.
This is a great way. Yeah, it's a great way.
You should be thankful, big time.
Yeah, you got a real gift.
We love you. We miss you. We'll see you soon.
No, we're waiting for his new show, which sounds fantastic.
We wait for his new show,
and
hopefully we can come, we can go to Israel soon and we'll see it.
And
or I'll come to New York.
That's for sure.
But you know that I call you a performer.
I will thank, it's my time to thank you. And as I'm always saying, thanks God.
You're
thanks
right.
God. Thank God, and thanks the audience.
Yeah, and we'll be here next week.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys. Welcome to Tzuzamen.